All right, so welcome back to our three-part series on maximizing your time in the gym. In part one, we talked about training density, or increasing the amount of work you do in a fixed time period. And I started with training density for a reason. Most of us have time to work out, we're just not using that time effectively. All right, so training density will help us push ourselves in the time we have available. But here's the next step: choosing the right exercises. If we've only got a few minutes in the gym, we need to choose exercises that are going to maximize our investment, and most guys in the gym are getting this wrong. Remember, you don't need 60 minutes in the gym. You can get a lot done in 20 minutes if you push yourself and choose the right exercises. So let's get into it. In part two, we're going to train movement patterns, not muscles. All right, so a famous quote in the strength conditioning personal training circles: if we train muscles, we will forget movements. But if we train movements, we will never forget muscles. And while I really like this quote, and you'll see it in many articles and blogs throughout the industry, I actually disagree with it, and here's why. A movement can forget a muscle because it's not functioning optimally. So that's why we use techniques like MAT, muscle activation technique, to help activate, strengthen, improve the sequencing of muscles that aren't functioning optimally. So what I mean by that is, let's take a overhead press, for example, which is a movement. You can have muscles that aren't functioning properly. Your body is still going to get your arms overhead. It may not use the muscles we were hoping to target, but it's going to get your arms overhead. So that's one problem with that quote, right? We can forget or overlook muscles that aren't functioning optimally. And sometimes we need to target a specific muscle for hypertrophy training, rehab, or to bring up a lagging body part. If you want to bring up your biceps, for example, we may target them at the beginning of every exercise session with isolation exercises. But in the context of this presentation, for the most efficient workouts possible, it's a good philosophy to follow. So if you're trying to save time, here's why you should train patterns and not muscle groups. Movement patterns create more metabolic disturbance. So what's that mean? Well, they demand more from your body. They promote intensity. Bicep curls followed by tricep extensions is not a fantastic metabolic pairing. You'll feel local fatigue in the arms, but we're looking to create global fatigue. And this effect is maximized by pairing a lower body lift with an upper body lift and performing them in a circuit style, for example. Movement patterns save you time. A longer workout can be effective due to the amount of volume you are able to create. And remember, volume is the amount of sets and reps you do. If you have more time, you're able to do more sets. So if you've got an hour in the gym, you can text between sets of bicep curls and still end up with a good workout. But we don't have that luxury with shorter workouts, so time-consuming isolation exercises get cut first. And movement patterns hit maximum amounts of muscle. Say you do a bench press variation, a row variation, and a squat pattern. So those three exercises probably worked every muscle in the body and took you 10 minutes to do, right? All right, so here are the movement pattern categories that I use, and feel free to select an exercise from each category as you're designing your own workout. So upper body pushing, vertical and horizontal. These are your dumbbell pressing variations, push-up variations, landmine variations, and if pain-free, overhead pressing. Upper body pulling, vertical and horizontal. So row variations, chin-ups, pull-ups, lat pull-downs, dumbbell pullovers, half kneeling lat pull-downs, another example. We then move on to lower body, one leg split stance. These are your split squats, rear foot elevated split squats, lunge variations, single leg deadlifts. Lower body hip dominant, so Romanian deadlifts. Deadlift variations, whether it's a traditional deadlift, sumo deadlift, deadlift from blocks, physio-ball leg curls, glute bridge variations. Next, lower body knee dominant. So trap bar deadlift, squat variations, front squat, back squat, and of course goblet squats. The last two are total body combination lifts. So Romanian deadlift to row, dumbbell squat to press, front squat to push press, and bicep curl to shoulder press. And yes, that is direct arm curling, right? We can do some isolation work on the biceps if we combine it with another movement to make it a little more metabolically demanding. And the final category is metabolic. So these are bear crawl variations, jump rope, battle ropes, treadmill sprints, kettlebell swings, renegade rows. And you'll notice an exercise is missing from the metabolic category. Burpees, right? I hate burpees, guys. Just don't do them. Bad position after bad position under high fatigue equals injury. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And there's something else missing, core training. And while it's important, we have to be ruthless with our red ink here. And direct core training will usually get crossed out for normal lifters. If we're trying to bring you back from a low back injury, that's a different case. So normal lifters in this context of trying to save time. Most of the exercises we've included work the core to some aspect, but I'll often throw in some plank variations into these more metabolic workouts just to make sure we're getting a little bit of core work done. All right, thank you for your time. That concludes part 2. Tomorrow we'll send you the final video in the series. I look forward to talking to you then.